Hey guys, Unity's changed a whole bunch of stuff since the announcement of the course. We went from Unity 6 to 6.1 to 6.2. We want to move you guys over to 6.2 because they introduced Unity 6 AI. And we're going to talk about AI and how to use it ethically and what's correct and what's not correct, what's okay, and all that jazz, right? So I decided that on top of saying, hey, move to 6.2 if you've already installed it, uninstall it unless you have a project that you've been messing around with for Unity 6. You'll have to keep the initial installation unless that project you think is like you didn't get that far with it or you didn't get crazy with it. Then you can uninstall it, move to 6.2. So I know it's a little confusing. This video is going to just quickly go through the process of installing everything that you need to make sure that we're all on the same page. And then we'll break down what all of these different softwares do, what they mean. So the stuff that you're going to need is Unity Hub, Unity 6.2, a GitHub account, GitHub desktop, and Git installation package for your computer. And that should pretty much cover it. We're just going to jump straight into it, get the downloads done. If you have issues, if you have questions, something on your screen looks different, take screenshots, be detailed, tag me in Discord. We'll jump on a screen share, walk you through it, and make sure everybody's up to date. We'll go over the rest of it. Start of the course will be our first session, really break that stuff down as we introduce the Unity editor, September 24th. So we'll see you then. All right, so the first thing we want to do is just run over to, we want to find Unity here, so unity.com. And we want to download it, so it's unity.com/download. I'm sure there's a link on the front. Click download for Windows. And real quick, just to clear up any confusion while we're showing Unity, we have the Unity engine. Personal is free. You don't have to worry about paying for anything to use and learn from Unity and to make projects and ship them until you reach a certain amount of funding. Great. Run the hub. Should be pretty familiar with all that stuff, putting it on the right spot. I'm not going to reinstall this because I already have it. And then once you're done, and when you open up the hub, you should see a list of projects, which will be empty for you. And we're not going to create a project here. You might be told to install something first, which is great. We want to go to our installs. And then we want to click Install Editor, and we want to grab the most current version. At the time of this is 6.2. So when we announced this, we were at 6.0. In that process, we've gotten to 0.1 and 0.2. So you can go ahead and install 0.2. We are going to be making the course off of 0.2 moving forward. So it's pretty safe to install that. Any side versions that come out after this, 0.22 or whatnot, it's probably fine to download those. It won't be too different. The big one being 0.2 is the focus of stuff that we're going to learn about, because this is the introduction to Unity AI that came out within X amount of time of announcing the course, ironically. So you'll click Install, and you want to make sure Microsoft Visual Studio Community is selected. You want Android build support, so that way you can create Android games. If you don't have an Android phone and you have a Apple, use iOS build support. We won't be running iOS games in the course. We'll be running Android, but you can still test and run projects and build them off of Android, and it's totally fine. Windows support is default. You can also download the documentation so that it's downloaded onto your computer for reference, so I recommend that. And then this will tell you the size. This is going to the wrong drive for me, but you can just go ahead and hit continue and it'll install all that stuff. Once all that stuff's installed, from here you would create a project. But we're not actually going to create a project, but we will touch base on what some of these things are. So you can select different editor versions. As you can see, I got all the way far back as 2019 on this bad boy. For the most part, when we make a project, we're basically going to choose whether it's a 3D project or a 2D project. In most cases, that's what we're going to use. So if you're making a mobile specific game, you can do the templates here and get familiar with the cores, which we're not really going to touch base on any of that during the course. We're really going to be focused on just learning basic Unity structure, code structure, and trying to get out of surface level knowledge. And then we can come back and worry about things like this and all of these other different templates that come in here. The ones that are titled as learning means that you can go over here to learn and you can follow the courses and projects that Unity has to learn with, which are great. Highly recommend them to supplement any additional knowledge you want to pick up as we go along. But what we're actually going to do is we're going to add one from a repository. Now, this is going to be empty. This is, I don't think we're actually going to use add from repository here. I think this is if we're using Unity for what's called version control, which is for GitHub, which is what we're going to download next. And again, we'll do a deeper dive on what all these things are after we've downloaded them. This is just to get everybody to the same pace where they need to be. Then next, we want to go to our GitHub. Oh, nope. We're just going to sign up. Continuing with Google is usually fine. Pretty straightforward following the account prompts. Okay, and then we don't need to do anything else beyond this. We're going to talk about repos later on, making your own repo. For now, we then want to download GitHub Desktop. Just going to click the download button that pops up for you. We'll go ahead and run that real quick. So my stuff on here already. You're not going to see any of that. Instead, you'll see probably a create or add. And then what you guys are going to do is you're going to click, if whatever it is you see here, click on this to add. We want to clone, I believe, and then you should have a URL option. And then inside the documentation that we've sent for this session, you're going to take the URL for it and you're going to paste it into here. And then you're going to want to also create a path for it. For me, I have it set to website dev/Unity course. That's just where I put all my development stuff. And the Unity course is going to be where we store the files that get downloaded from this repo. Now, we got one more thing to download, and then we're going to break down what it is we actually just installed on our computers, how it works, what its core focus is. But getting through the download process, we just want to go as quick as possible. Great. Once it's there, we'll see that the current repository is Unity course. The current branch is main. Fetching says never fetched. It doesn't really matter. You can go ahead and hit fetch. If you see anything after you click fetch, just agree to it. You'll do probably a first commit for that, which we'll talk about in a minute. Then the last thing we need is to get Git. So this is different than logging into Git and getting Git desktop. Again, we'll talk about all this here in a second once we get everybody downloaded, everything set up. If you're on a Windows, you want to select Windows, and you're just going to click on it. Choose the appropriate setup for you, standalone installer. Get for Windows x64. Once again, we're going to wait and then run it. We get a pop-up installation. Let's see, we just want to install. This is fine. I already have it, so it's probably going to say, do we want to repair it? I have no idea. Hopefully it didn't just install the second one. Hopefully it was smart enough to replace existing one just to see the new version. It's also probably just updating me because I don't think I had that version. It's been a minute. Yeah, 12 days ago. I don't have that version. Perfect. And then when it's done, we can uncheck that. We don't need to launch Git Bash, and we just want to finish. Great. So we've installed all of the things we need for Git. We've got our Unity editor, our Unity hub, We should be good to go. And now we can start talking about what it is we actually just put on our computers, which was a virus. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to actually cover everything that we just went and installed and get more in depth about it actually as the start of the course, because it introduces the actual files you will have downloaded and the step process for you guys to get everything. So that'll be the next video when we start September 24th, getting everybody into the project and start messing around.